Hello guys, welcome to Solving Solutions on Bound channel where I get solutions to all your solving problems. It's nice having you in class again today. How have you been? On today's tutorial, we are going to look at spatial join in ArcGIS Pro. So it is simply an operation in GIS where you combine attributes from one spatial dataset, just like we have in the hotels, to another, just like we also have in the boundaries of the state, right? Good, based on their spatial relationship. So we have the state administrative boundary of the country showing the different states, and then we also have the spatial distribution of hotels in the different states, right? Good. So we come to the processing toolbox and then we search for good. So it joins attributes from one feature to another based on the spatial relationship. So we open that up. Now when the spatial joins window is opened, we have different parameters to take note of. We have the target feature, which the attributes from the target features and the attributes from the joint features will be transferred to the output feature class. Now the target feature is just like the layer that will receive the new attribute, right? Good. So if we decide to make the target attribute hotels, and then we decide to make the joint feature, the target features rather, if we decide to make it hotels and we decide to make the joint feature the state boundaries, what this implies is that this output feature class would carry a point as what the feature class, or will be outputted as a point, because the output feature class always takes the geometry of what the target features, right? Good. What this simply means is that if we want to use the hotels as the target features and then the state boundaries as the joint features, it simply means we want to know the states in which each of the hotels would belong to, right? Good. Because we have the spatial distribution of the hotels in the different states, but we want to now know which of the states each of the hotels belong to. That is where we now have what the target as the hotel and then the states as what the join. Now another very important part of it is the match option. Now this match option defines or specifies the relationship in which the join will take place, right? Good. So we have different topological relationship, the intersect. We have the within a specified a distance geodesic, contains, and all of that. So depending on the input you have in your target and your join, that will determine what the match option. So since we are having point as the target and then we are having polygon as the join, the best alternative to use, or maybe the best option to use, will be what within, right? Good. So we search for within. Now if you make some other choices that are not compatible, like if we say contain, you are going to see an error message that is telling you that the relationship is invalid for the selected layers, right? Good. So you need to understand the relationship that the selected layers can have for you to be able to output what the joint feature class, right? Good. So the output feature class for the join, right? Good. So having fixed this, we can click on run. So as we have said, the outputted feature class would take the geometry of what the target feature, right? Good. Therefore, since the target feature is point, the output is also what point. Now if we open the attribute table now, we are going to see something peculiar, that for each of the hotels, their respective states has been what attached. So we have the state name. So if we open the first attribute table that has not been joined, we are going to see that we just have what the names of the hotel, right? Good. So when we have carried out the join, aside the names of the hotel which stops at this point, we now have another field, or we have other fields that helps us to identify what the states where the hotels are located, right? Good. So you can even see that the number of fields we have for the original hotels feature class is less than what we now have when it has been joined. So that is when we use the hotels for the target and then we use the states for the join. So now let's reverse the positions. So let's use the state for the target, and then let's now use the hotels for the join, right? Good. Immediately we do that, you've seen what a prompt here that the relationship is invalid for selected layers, which means when the target feature is the boundaries of the state and then the joint feature is the hotels, the relationship cannot be within, right? Good. So in this case, the relationship will now, let's say, contain. Now, the reason why we are trying to use contains is because we want to say for each state how many hotels are fully inside of it, right? Good. That is what we want to determine. So what will now happen is that for the output, since the first one is spatial join, let's call this underscore ss to create a distinction, because it is telling us that this feature class has already been used, or maybe it already exists, right? Good. So if we create a new one, then this can run. And then we have also defined what the relationship, that's the match option, right? Good. So now let's run. So the output that will come up will be what? For the geometry will be a polygon, right? Good. So we have an outputted result and we have this to be here, right? Good. That's the hotel underscore spatial join underscore ss. So if we open this up to the attribute table, we are going to see the different hotels, which are these. And then if we scroll down to this point, if we scroll down to our right, we are also going to see what the state, right? Good, that fully contains those hotels, right? Good. So these are the states that fully contains those hotels. So depending on the relationship you want to achieve, and then let's zoom to layer. Depending on the relationship you want to achieve, and then perhaps the geometry of the feature classes you have, or maybe of the data set you have, you can decide to use different match options. And then the contains and the within that we have used are not the two fixed relationship. You can just try other relationships to see, in as much as the error message does not come up, right? Good. So we hope we have shown you how to carry out spatial joins, which is a combining of attributes from one spatial data to another based on what their spatial relationship. So we are going to see you on the next tutorial. Ensure you keep staying safe and have a fantastic time. Bye.